said, why you gotta be so mean? Conducive to your attitude is how we stage in the scene. I'm not your boyfriend, your bae, or anything in between. When you what it do? It is your boy Yahchi B. You're hanging out with me on Yahchi TV. We're gonna kick it off really simple and just get straight to it. If you haven't already heard, that's the quarantine freestyle in the beginning of this video. Make sure you please go check that out. Doing big things. Don't want that to overshadow what I'm going to be talking about. We do have a very powerful subject that I will be discussing and unravishing. So make sure you do hit that subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell so that you do get a notification every time that I do drop a video. And please hit that like button, as it does help the YouTube algorithm to get this message out to everybody. This is a very powerful message. I do want everybody to hear this one, so please make sure you do hit that like button. And we're gonna grind, man. We're on a 1K grind, trying to get to 1K subscribers. So please help me with that grind by hitting that subscribe button. I'm just going to get straight into it. So let's start the show. Cool. So just going to give like a little backstory. I don't even know if it's too much of a backstory, but we all know what's going on right now. And if you don't, you must be living under a rock. But we have a lot of social injustice, and you know, systemic racism has been thriving, as we can pretty much say, since this country's been built. And I think what has happened is that the progressive younger generation, like, you know, myself and younger, have got fed up and tired with it. We're tired of seeing so many things just happen, and it's more so becoming an illusion of numbness. Like we see so many things and we just become numb to it. But I think in this moment, what happened was, I think the visual really captivated on why it struck a chord in America. You know, people are just so fed up and tired of, you know, pretty much disrespect. Too many slaps in the face from, you know, the ones that's supposed to serve and protect. This one, I would say personally for me, I really can't say as far as for other individuals. What really struck a chord with me for this one is that Colin Kaepernick, he was the one who pretty much, I wouldn't say jump-started this, because I mean, this all has been going on since the beginning of time, but I mean, on a level where people can see it, where it's, you know, now it's in front of your face, in your homes, because, you know, he played football and everything. I think that's what really jumped ship, because, you know, he's taking a knee for police brutality, social injustices, and systemic racism against black people. That's the whole thing. Was never against the flag. We already had that conversation. Not going to get into that. His whole premise was about, you know, systemic racism and police brutality. We put that on the forefront. Him taking that knee, I think it just struck a chord with me as far as seeing that bastard murder George Floyd with his knee on his neck, and, you know, have no remorse, no type of feeling when he's doing it for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Like, just take a moment and realize how long of a time that is. 8 minutes and 46 seconds. That's beyond me. So I don't want to speak too much. I want to actually like deep dive into the video. So I'm actually going to start the video right now. And I want to give a big shout out to Lil Baby, because I knew he had the capability of doing this. And it's pretty dope to actually see this, because now, you know, I'm from New York, but I live in Atlanta. And just to see this, it's pretty dope. It's beautiful. So let's get right into it.
Protest is growing, national outcry continues, and rubber bullets.
The main message here is that they want to see those officers involved.
They want to see those officers arrested.
Even in told them please. I found it crazy the police to shoot you, ain't know that you did, but still tell you to freeze. Fucked up, I seen what I seen. I guess that mean hold him down if you say you can't breathe. It's too many.
So it's crazy, because there's just so many instances of this where, you know, black lives are just taken, and I just hate that it had to come to this moment where, you know, civil unrest just broke out in the country. And do I agree with looting? No, but I get it. I get it as far as that, you know, when we peacefully demonstrate and we protest and, you know, we march, and it's just never enough. You know, it's either, you know, message just never gets across. We're just marching and marching and marching, or the police officers, they're taking control and they're pretty much just exerting dominance for no apparent reason. If I'm peacefully, you know, protesting and walking through the streets with signs, that shouldn't give no reason for any police officers to pretty much use military force to disband us if we're exercising our First Amendment right of freedom of speech. I want to take a point to that as far as why wasn't the same precautions taken when these people during the whole pandemic virus thing, why wasn't those same precautions taken in Michigan where these people had AK-47s, which is your Second Amendment right to bear arms, but you have AK-47s in a building, in a state capitol building, but yet there was no demonstration against them. But yet when us, people of my skin tone, go to protest for something that's been going on for many years, this pandemic just happened and people are out of work complaining, and I understand it's very frustrating, but yet, you know, this stuff, systemic racism has been going on for a long time, and when we peacefully do things, it just never has a positive outcome, which is really sad. So I'm gonna continue on with the video.
Many mothers just grieving, they killing us for no reason. Been going on for too long to get even. Throwing some cages like dogs and hyenas. I went to court and they firing, man. How the fuck they gon' blame us? You can't fight fire with fire, I know, but at least we can turn up the flames on. Every color person ain't done.
So I like that. I really like that when he said you can't fight fire with fire, but we're gonna turn up the flame some. And that to me exerts the point to the looting. So as far as, you know, we're frustrated, you know, we peacefully protest and we just don't know what else to do. So the next resort is to loot. We went and burned things, and we went and, you know, broke establishments and stuff like that. And I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. But it's like, you know, you got to look at the dynamic of just like how long it's been going on, how frustrated people are, how we want to get our message out. And that was just, as far as like the everyday black person that has so many odds against them, that's the only way to, you know, let our message be known. Because that's really all you know. I mean, like, you try to speak your voice and nobody hears you. So, like I said, I don't agree with it, and especially I don't agree with it if you're doing it in your own, you know, in your own communities. But also, I cannot rest assured and say enough. A lot of the looting was not us. It wasn't people of my skin tone. It was actually a lot of people of the other race starting that stuff to have to put a, you know, to have a vantage point to put a blame on us, sadly, you know. And that those are just the cycle of things that we go through, as far as being so packed in, as far as like, you know, this is just another loop of like, you know, we try to do stuff peacefully, but there's always someone trying to fuck up the situation where it makes us look bad, and then it just spirals to something that it was never supposed to be. And it's frustrating. It's really frustrating. And like I said, I get it, but I don't agree with, like, you know, messing up your own neighborhood, because you have to go back there. You have to go back there. You know, those resources are for those, you know, who really need those, like, you know, grocery stores and like convenience stores and stuff like that. People need that stuff when all the reckoning's done. So it's really sad. It's very frustrating.
And all whites not racist. I be judging by the mind and heart. I ain't really in the face. Fuck up the way that whenever you drive. Overprotected, go crazy for mine. You gotta pay attention to the sign. Seem like the blind following the blind. Thinking about everything that's going on.
So there's a lot to unpack out there. You know, we also got to keep in that mind frame is that, yes, all whites are not racist. I'm not against all white people. I'm just against racist people. All whites are not racist. I love white people. I've had a lot of white people actually reach out to me and tell me, I'm sorry. I don't need your apologies. I don't need you to be sorry. I need what for you to do. I need you to be educated. I need you to, you know, educate yourself on these matters so that you can pass that message along to your friends or your children, and just pass that along for generations so that this never happens anymore. So like, don't be sorry for what's happening now, or don't be sorry for somebody, you know, in your family that has no, if it's somebody in your family that is racist, go ahead and educate them, let them know what, you know, this is what it is, and like, do better. Like, we don't need no more apologies, Drew Brees. I'm not accepting apologies anymore. I just need you to do better. That's all I want you to do. Just constructively, just think to yourself, what can I do to do better as far as making this situation right? And it's just educating yourself and passing that message along so that this just can be gone. And it's just sad that, like, as far as I had a conversation with a friend about this, is that I shouldn't have to, you know, when a police officer stopped me, I shouldn't have to be nervous and holding the steering wheel and just like, you know, looking straight and stuff like that. But it's just, that's just a matter of just how it is, as, you know, being a black citizen in this country, is that, you know, I have to do these things, and no, it's not right, but I'm not going to lash out, because I know the connotation that comes with that. I can possibly be killed. So it's that, sadly, you know, I have to abide by this and just be extra cautionary as a black man than if I was a white man. And it's really sad. So yes, it's really bad.
I put security up in my home. I'm with my kind, they right or they wrong. I call him now, he'll pick up the phone. It's 5 in the morning, he waking up on it. Tell him wherever I'm at, then they coming. I see blue lights, I get scared, so I'm in black and white. It's a problem with the whole way of life. It can't change overnight, but we gotta start somewhere. Might as well go ahead and start here. We done had a hell of a year. I'ma make it count while I'm here. God is the only man I fear. Fuck it, I'm going on the front line. Altercation with the law, had a lot of them. People speaking for the people, I'm proud of them. Stick together, we can get it up out of them. I can't lie like I don't rap about killing and dope, but I'm telling my youngest to vote. I deal what I did, cause I didn't have no choice and no hope. I was forced to just jump in and go. This bullshit is all that we know, but it's time for a change. Got time to be serious, no time for no gang. Ain't taking no, I'm just here to vent. It happened to one of your people, it's different. We get it, the system is wicked, just learn how to pick it. Knowledge is power, I swear I'm a witness. I know that I'm gifted, I won't go too deep, cause I'm scared they'll get me, ain't scared to admit it. I'm so been a fan of police, but my neighborhood know I try to keep peace, so it's only right that I get in the streets. March for a reason, I just on GP. How people die for us to be free. Fuck do you mean? This was a dream. Now we got the power there.
So yeah, I just wanted to get, you know, a little bit. I've seen the video, unfortunately. Like I tried to keep it authentic as far as like not watching, but like stuff like this definitely puts me into, you know, a whole different realm of perspective. But with that being said, it was a lot to unpack here as far as you know, defunding the police. Yes, I agree with that, but to a certain extent, like, do we not to abolish the police system? That's just asinine. That's crazy. But we definitely need to take away some funding, and also need to change protocol as far as like quotas and stuff like that. It's like, to me, it just always blows my mind as far as like police quotas. Like, you know, you give this many people this many tickets, or you arrest this many people. Like, that shit just blows my mind. Like, why is that even a thing? So like, yes, I believe funding should be, you know, it should be reallocated to proper police training. Also cracking down on people who have like histories of doing certain things. Also, it should go into, as far as like the money that you're taking out, put it into communities. Put it into communities to make these communities much better, have much more resources, so that these things don't happen where you have an influx of crime. So I mean, like, if you put community centers in, you know, stricken in like bad communities, you know, like, kids have more of an advantage, you know, not to be a gang member if they have that community center. You know, they'll have a place to go to keep themselves out of the street and being influenced by outside sources. So, you know, it has to be a reallocation. And also, you know, he mentioned about voting and stuff like that. Strong proponent of voting. Got to go and do your research on your candidates before you actually vote. Don't just vote because you think, you know, the Democrats are for the blacks, and, you know, like, you know, you got a Republican that's bad in office and stuff. But please don't just do that. Please do your research, because at the end of the day, we need to hold these people accountable. I don't want to be faced with the two of evils and just picking the lesser one. I don't want people to just go out there and, you know, vote for a candidate because the previous candidate is horrible. Like, we just need to do more research as far as putting these people into office, and also understanding that it starts at your local level. You know, the higher elections, like, yeah, they sound great. That's just, you know, that's the face of the nation, but it also starts in your local levels. You need to go out and look at these local officials and see what they're going to do for your communities, and not just see what they're going to do for their communities once they're elected. You got to hold them accountable. So that means you have to go to your councilmen, and you have to go to these, you know, council board meetings and stuff like that, and you need to hold them accountable to the things that they said what they're going to provide for your communities and for your state and for your nation. You need to hold these people accountable to these things. And then just to go off a whole nother point is that in Georgia, what was kind of just crazy to me, I was actually going to go for go vote in the primaries before I went to work, but there was just so much going on as far as, like, I just feel that they were trying to suppress the black vote. Now that we are in this state of being woke, and like now we know that we actually need to go out and vote, and now we're gaining a more in-depth sight of information about these things. I just feel like the black vote was suppressed. It was suppressed due to so many difficulties, so much faulty systems, and it was just such a mess, which it just didn't make no sense to me, because you had tons of time to plan for this, and like now all of a sudden it just sounds like a convenient story to suppress our votes in order, you know, for just because, I mean, like, lines were long and stuff like that. You already know people look at a long line just be like, hey, I don't have the time. Or, you know, you hear information about, like, oh man, you know, they're having system issues, and then it gets you thinking like, well, you know, why would I even want to do it, because, you know, my vote's probably not even going to count because, you know, they're having. So it's just like those small things that I think about, and then I look at and just see, as far as, man, this is just crazy. But please just keep your vision straight. And just, go vote. Make sure you go vote no matter what. And do your research on your candidates, but just go vote, because it's very important.
Need to have, they don't want us with it, and that's why they mad. It's bigger than black and white. It's a problem with the whole way of life. It can't change overnight. But we gotta start somewhere. Might as well go ahead and start here. We done had a hell of a year. I'ma make it count while I'm here. God is the only man I fear. It's bigger than black and white. It's a problem with the whole way of life. It can't change overnight. But we gotta start somewhere. Might as well go ahead and start here. We done had a hell of a year. I'ma make it count while I'm here. God is the only man I fear.
So enough said, man. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. The bigger picture, man. That's all it is, man. Just gotta think in hindsight, the bigger picture. Right now, man, I feel like, you know, it's gonna take some time for change, but I'm willing to take that sacrifice so that my children can have a better life. I mean, as of right now, I have no kids, but I just know that this is the moment where I need to prevail and make it right for future generations, so that we can, for the sake of humanity, that everybody can have equality. And just for my last point before I, you know, cut this video off, Black Lives Matter, man. I'm tired of seeing people saying, you know, having this argument, this discussion about all lives matter. Until Black Lives Matter, all lives don't matter. So that's my little rendition of this, but great music video, man. I want to applaud Lil Baby for what he did with this. And please, man, make sure you do go subscribe to the channel, and make sure you like the video. But more so, even if you don't do those things, I want you to go out there and educate yourself. And in making this all right, if you do have someone that you are close to, or if you have some friends that are, you know, Caucasian or ignorant to the situation, just educate them, man. Please just educate them and let them know that this is the bigger picture, man. The bigger picture is bigger than black and white. That's it. It's bigger than black and white. This is for the sake of humanity. Everybody lives in this country, and everybody should be given the rights and equality as the next man. Nobody should be subjected to any wrongdoing or any failure of action just for the color of the skin. You should definitely be judged by the content of your character, which the great Martin Luther King has said. So, and then on that note, man, spreading positive vibes, good energy, and on the forefront, man, as everybody know. And also, before I do end it, I do want to give condolences to the George Floyd family, and horrific incident, and I know dear in my heart, I'm praying that justice will be served. It's your boy Yahchi B. Black Lives Matter. I'm out. Why you gotta be so mean? Conducive to your attitude is how we stage in the scene. I'm not your boyfriend, your bae, or anything in between. Will you reproach me with respect?